Have you ever seen a woman who walks through life alone, yet carries herself with quiet strength? The world sees her smile, but not her scars. They see her calm, but not her storms. Behind every steady step, there's a silent battle, one fought in the dark, with faith as her only weapon. She may not have a man beside her, but she has God within her, and that makes her unstoppable. This is not just a story of loneliness. It's a story of divine transformation, of how silence becomes strength and solitude becomes victory. My dear brothers and sisters, before I speak to you today, I want you to take a deep breath, close your eyes for a moment, feel the quietness around you, because sometimes silence is not empty. It is full of messages from God. You see, life often brings us to a place where the noise fades, where the laughter of others feels far away, and all that remains is the sound of your own heartbeat. Many women live in that quiet space. They wake up each morning and wear strength like clothing. They smile so the world won't ask questions. They carry burdens that no one notices. But when the night comes and the lights go out, they face what I call the silent battle. This is the silent battle of a woman without men, not just a woman without a husband, but a woman without support, without protection, without someone to lean on when her heart grows tired. She stands tall in a world that expects her to be strong all the time, yet no one sees the weight she carries inside. Perhaps, my dear sister, you know that feeling. You walk into your home and the only sound is your own footsteps. You handle responsibilities that were never meant for one pair of hands. You fix what is broken, you provide what is needed, you comfort those who depend on you, but there's no one there to comfort you. You look around and realize that you are the one holding everything together. Her, even when you are falling apart inside. But listen to me now, you are not alone. Even in your solitude, God is near. He walks with you through the valley of loneliness. He counts your tears and He understands the unspoken cries of your heart. When no one calls, He listens. When no one sees, He watches. When no one understands, He whispers, "My daughter, I am with you." The world may not notice your silent victories, the moments when you wanted to give up but chose to stand anyway. But heaven does. Every time you pray through pain, every time you forgive when you could have turned bitter, every time you keep loving when you've been hurt, that is a triumph in God's eyes. You see, this silent battle is not punishment, it is preparation. God is shaping you in your solitude. He is teaching you to rely on His presence, not on people. He is revealing your strength, your patience, your divine purpose. So, my dear sister, lift your head. Do not let loneliness convince you that you are forgotten. The silence that surrounds you now will one day echo with songs of victory. The tears you cry today are watering the seeds of tomorrow's joy. You may walk alone, but you walk with destiny. You may battle in silence, but heaven is cheering for you. You may feel unseen, but God is building a story within you. A story of courage, faith, and divine transformation. Hold on, beloved. Your silent battle will become your greatest testimony. When silence becomes your teacher, my dear brothers and sisters, there is a kind of silence that does not destroy you. It teaches you. When the noise of people fades away, when the applause stops, and when the ones you once depended on are no longer there, that is when God begins to speak in the deepest part of your soul. A woman without men often finds herself in this sacred classroom of silence. She may not have someone to call late at night. She may not have a shoulder to lean on, but she has something far greater, a direct line to heaven. It is in her solitude that she begins to hear what she could not hear before. At first, the silence feels painful. It feels like abandonment. It feels like rejection. You may even cry out, "Lord, why me? Why do I have to face this alone?" But slowly, if you stay still long enough, something begins to change. You start to realize that the silence is not empty. It is full of divine lessons. It teaches you to depend not on people, but on God's strength. It teaches you to find peace, not in conversation, but in prayer. It teaches you that your value does not come from being chosen by a man, but by being chosen by God. You see, sometimes God removes the noise so you can hear His voice clearly. He separates you from what distracts you so you can discover who you truly are. You were never created just to survive relationships. You were created to fulfill divine purpose. And sometimes purpose begins in isolation. Think of Esther before she became queen. She was hidden. Think of Mary before she gave birth to Jesus. She was misunderstood. Think of Ruth before she met Boaz. She was widowed, walking alone. Each of them faced seasons where silence surrounded them. But in that silence, God was preparing them for something sacred. My beloved sister, your silence is not a sign that you have been forgotten. It is a sign that heaven is working behind the scenes. While you wait, God is building spiritual muscles inside you. He is teaching you patience, wisdom, and strength that no ordinary life can give. You may not see progress yet, but growth is happening in the unseen. Every prayer you whisper in tears becomes a seed planted in faith. Every moment you choose gratitude instead of bitterness waters that seed. And one day you will look back and realize that the silence was never a punishment. It was preparation for your transformation. So don't despise this season. Don't rush to fill the quiet with meaningless noise. Sit with God. Listen. Let Him teach you through the stillness. Because when silence becomes your teacher, loneliness turns into revelation, and revelation turns into power. Hold on, dear one. The same silence that once broke you will soon become the space where you meet your true self and your Creator face to face. The strength born in solitude, my dear brothers and sisters, there is a strength that only reveals itself when everything else has been stripped away. When the people who once stood with you are gone, when the hands that once held you no longer reach out, that is when you discover what you are truly made of. For a woman walking without the support of men, life can feel like a constant uphill climb. There are bills to pay, children to raise, dreams to hold on to, and a heart that still aches for companionship. Yet somehow she rises every morning, wipes her tears, and keeps moving forward. That strength, my dear sister, is not ordinary. It is divine. The world may call you fragile, but heaven calls you chosen. The same God who stood beside Deborah as she led an army, who gave Hannah the faith to pray through her barrenness, who filled Mary with courage when the world doubted her, that same God lives in you. Sometimes He allows solitude not to break you, but to build you. Because when no one is there to catch you, you learn to stand on the solid rock of faith. When no voice affirms you, you learn to listen to the still, small voice of God that says, "You are mine." It is in your solitude that spiritual strength is born. The woman who learns to walk alone learns to walk with God. The woman who prays through her tears becomes unshakable. The woman who trusts God in the absence of support becomes unstoppable. You may look at your reflection and see weakness, but heaven sees a warrior in training. You are being refined in fire. Every disappointment, every rejection, every lonely night, it is shaping a resilience that cannot be destroyed. You see, dear one, solitude teaches you what dependence on God really means. When you have no one else to turn to, you turn to Him completely, and that is where miracles begin. The more you lean on Him, the more you feel His power, shakis, flowing through you. And when people finally see you again, they will wonder, how did she survive that? They will not understand that it was in your loneliness that you found your greatest companion, the Holy Spirit. Do not despise your solitude. It is sacred ground. This is where your character is purified. This is where your voice is strengthened. This is where you are being transformed into the woman God destined you to be. So, lift your eyes, beloved. You are not weak because you walk alone. You are powerful because you walk with the Almighty. The world may see a woman without men, but heaven sees a woman who walks with God. And that, my dear sister, is a strength no human can match. Hold your head high. You are the living proof that even in solitude, grace abounds, strength multiplies, and faith conquers all. When faith becomes your shelter, my dear brothers and sisters, there comes a moment in every believer's life when faith must become more than a word. It must become a home, a shelter, a place of rest. For a woman walking through the storms of life without a man beside her, faith is not optional. It is survival. When the world becomes too heavy, when the nights feel endless, when the tears keep falling, faith becomes the only hand she can hold. There are nights when she whispers, "Lord, I don't know how much longer I can do this." And yet, somehow the next morning she finds new strength she cannot explain. That strength is the quiet miracle of faith. Faith is not the absence of pain, it is the presence of peace in the middle of pain. It is the calm voice that says, "Keep going, I am with you." even when everything around you says to quit. My dear sister, I know the loneliness can sometimes feel like a storm that never ends. You may look at families, couples, people who seem to have everything and wonder, why does my life look so different? But what if I told you that God has chosen your path because He is building something within you that cannot be built in comfort? When there is no one else to run to, you run to Him. When there is no one to provide for you, you depend on His provision. When there is no one to speak love over you, you learn to listen to His word declaring, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Faith is the bridge between where you are and where God is taking you. Every prayer you pray is another step across that bridge. Every time you trust when you can't see, you move closer to your breakthrough. Remember the woman with the issue of blood. She had no one, no man to defend her, no one to speak for her, but faith moved her. Faith gave her courage to reach out and touch the hem of Jesus' garment. And in that moment, her entire life changed. That same faith lives in you. It is not small. It is not fragile. It is powerful. It is your weapon and your shelter. When the voices of doubt come, when fear tries to whisper that you are forgotten, lift your hands and declare, my God is still with me. Faith turns your tears into testimony. Faith turns your waiting into worship. Faith turns your loneliness into a sacred meeting place between you and God. So do not fear the storm, my sister. The winds that try to break you are only pushing you closer to your purpose. Let your faith be your shelter, your shield, your strength, because when a woman without men walks by faith, she walks with heaven itself. Hold on to that faith. It will not fail you. The power of a woman who rises. My dear brothers and sisters, there is something extraordinary about a woman who refuses to stay down. A woman who has cried herself to sleep, faced the emptiness of loneliness, endured heartbreak, rejection, and disappointment, and yet somehow she rises again. That, my beloved, is not ordinary strength. That is divine power living inside her. When a woman rises after being broken, she does not rise the same. She rises wiser, deeper, softer in spirit, but stronger in faith. She no longer seeks validation from others because she has found her worth in the eyes of God. She no longer fears walking alone because she has learned that the presence of God is better than the company of people who were never meant to stay. A woman without men is not a woman without power. She is a woman who has been trained by the storms of life. She has learned to build her own peace, to speak her own encouragement, and to fight battles on her knees in prayer. Her strength is quiet, but it shakes the heavens. Her victories are private, but they echo in eternity. Do you know why? Because every time she rises, she defies the enemy's plan. The devil hoped that heartbreak would destroy her faith, but instead it deepened her relationship with God. The world expected her to lose herself, but she found herself in Christ. Every trial that tried to crush her only revealed the fire that burns within her soul. My dear sister, if you are standing today after everything you have gone through, you are already victorious. You are proof that no absence, no rejection, no betrayal can stop the purpose that God placed within you. You are not waiting to be rescued. You have already been redeemed. Remember this. You carry the DNA of resilience. You are the daughter of the Almighty, the same God who parted the Red Sea, who opened barren wombs, who raised the dead. His power flows in your veins. That is why no matter what comes your way, you rise again. People may wonder how you keep going. They may ask, how does she still smile? It's because your smile is not born from comfort. It's born from faith. You've learned that even in ashes, beauty can bloom. Even in loss, purpose can rise. Even in solitude, peace can dwell. The power of a woman who rises is unstoppable. She becomes a light in the darkness, a voice of hope for others who are still struggling. Her story becomes someone else's survival guide. Her pain becomes her platform. Her scars become her strength. So rise, beloved. Rise with grace, rise with courage, rise with faith. You may have walked through fire, but the flames only refined you. You may have walked alone, but you were never abandoned. Heaven walked beside you. And now the world will see the woman who fought in silence has become the woman who shines with divine strength. The crown of the silent warrior, my dear brothers and sisters. Every battle you have fought, every tear you have shed, every lonely night you have endured, none of it has been in vain. You may not realize it yet, but heaven has been watching. The same God who saw Hannah in her tears, Ruth in her loyalty, and Mary in her surrender has seen you. You are not just a woman who survived. You are a woman who has been anointed through suffering. You have fought battles that others could not see. You have stood when it would have been easier to give up. You have prayed when your heart was weary and trusted when your eyes saw no reason to hope. That kind of faith does not go unrewarded. The silent battle of a woman without men is not about loneliness. It is about becoming one with God. In that space where no human voice answers, you begin to hear his whisper clearer than ever before. You realize that everything you lost was never meant to define you. It was meant to refine you. My dear sister, your silent battle was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal your crown. You see, there is a crown that only warriors wear, not the kind made of gold, but the kind made of endurance, faith, and unwavering trust in the promises of God. Every scar you carry is a jewel in that crown. Every tear you shed is a drop of oil that anoints your destiny. The world may have overlooked you, but heaven has not. The angels have recorded your perseverance. God has prepared a table before you, even in the presence of those who doubted you. You will rise, not in pride, but in quiet glory, the kind that radiates from a heart fully surrendered to God. And when that moment comes, when you walk into the new season that God has prepared for you, people will see his light upon you. They will not see the pain, only the power. They will not see the struggle, only the strength, because God always turns suffering into splendor when the heart remains faithful. So my beloved, wear your crown, walk in dignity, speak with wisdom, move with grace. You have become a living testimony of divine endurance, a woman who found completeness, not in the presence of men, but in the presence of God. The world will call you strong, heaven will call you faithful, and God will call you his daughter. Your silent battle is over. You have emerged victorious. You are not who you were when you began this journey, so you are wiser, purer, stronger, and more radiant than ever before. Now step forward with peace in your heart and confidence in your spirit, because the woman who once walked alone now walks with the King of Kings. You are his, and that is enough.